Welcome to the Sand Zone. Not really. It's more like, welcome to the other Jack Black. Yeah. Now then, let's get serious. Serious for the people. Let me tell you something. If you would allow me to sound like Jimmy Church Coffee. You like your coffee black? Yeah. So get this. In the news, which you probably already know, CEO, big guy, not a little, is sued Inslee for being the dumbass he is, authoritarian dictator, basically. And you guys may not understand this or know this, but this is part of law. Due process, right? You can't just have people rule over you and tell you what to do. One person over 7 million people, to be exact, here in Washington. But that's why one CEO is suing Governor Inslee, because he has no data to back up his ludicrous madness lockdown, right? You can't prove basically any business what they're setting down, or any restaurant they're sitting down, or anything, etc., is actually specifically contributing to more spread than anything else. And I am probably legally obligated to say this, so I will. This is my opinion. Stop. Here's what I believe to be the facts, and you might want to look them up. So yeah, there's no data, and how would you get it? You'd have to prove it somehow. How are you going to prove it? These numbers are just they're just going up. Why do they keep going up? There's no pattern where they slow down. Why is that? That's part of common sense. But let me tell you what's going on. So the hospital is getting 8,000 per patient that dies of COVID, right? Don't you think it's funny that the numbers don't go down, and you're getting you're funneling money essentially from taxpayers legally, scamming money from the government for 8,000 for everybody who dies of a basic flu, that you could have reported the numbers in any year and they would have been the same this year. And the numbers, you think the numbers are going to go down? Hell no, they're not. If any of your frontal lobes are not turned off from big pharma, and you research things because you're an intelligent, clever person that is like Mr. Spock off Star Trek, and you're smart, right? You would already know this shit, okay? But let me explain it for people who are just 9 to 5, happy to go to that jobby, as now you can see that jobby ain't cutting it, because you might not even have a jobby, Don't do what society wants you to do in life. So that's what I didn't do. I've done shitloads of other shit. Like, watch the Pretender series, you'll get the drift. I've done anything I've set my mind to. I've done like 50 things. But besides that, now I do voiceovers. I'm an actor, but of course that's not why exactly I'm on here. I thought I'd break out the mic because I was kind of like poised to. I mean, but I could easily say like, oh man, we have to get COVID when we go on set. It's so hard, and we're out of work too, and all this crap. But that's not even why. I'm just here because it's like we're going to have to defend our Second Amendment rights and get down and protect our lands if we want our rights back. Because we're not. America has rights. Okay, you may not understand this either, but America only has rights and keeps the rights because they defend them. Now, they haven't defended them in a long time. That's the problem. We need to make America great again for that reason, not because Trump coined the phrase or said it or some bullshit. It's because it's just the fucking truth. We need to defend. We need to defend what we got, because we're not going to get them back once they're taken. Once your rights are taken, this is no longer America. You want this lockdown to go on forever? You want it to get worse? Well, you need to get off your ass, get your AR-15, start to protect your rights. Now, I'm not saying to go out to do anything yet, right? It hasn't gotten that far. But how many people about, 5 years ago? I mean, I know plenty. Like, just random people I met at Safeway that got their bunker plan going way ahead of time, because ever since 9/11, they woke the hell up, even if they weren't awake. These are people like obviously we're awake already, right? And by that I mean not just sitting on their 9 to 5 job and happen to get home to their wife or whatever, gutter-minded sex freaks and shit. I'm talking about people who actually use their mind and didn't just not get raised. You know, you can raise yourself if you can. If you can't, you can't. Usually that's how that works. Like the old saying goes, great people do great things. But that's all I'm saying is you got two different types of people, and you also have two political groups. Geez, what a coincidence. Uh, Anyways, in the Constitution, they wrote all kinds of things to protect our ass, which is what Jerome Corsi is doing. He's going off those lines of, and he's suing, through the Supreme Court, the government for. He's kind of jumping the gun, according to another guy, which I kind of believe, but you have to go through the lower courts first, and I don't know how much of that is all messed up and mashed up because Trump reassigned the guys, but they don't have a choice because the burden of proof is on the courts, is on the person prosecuting or suing. You have to have crazy amounts of proof, like you're the FBI or something. You can't just say that it. Stupidly enough, you can't just say, oh, there was Dominion machines bought by China and they're always on a wireless and they're so insecure, even though it's obvious as hell. But anyways, so there's another guy that's into politics. It's the actual lawyer. He's the guy, look him up, that has sued the FDA 8 times and won 8 times, only guy in history. So he really knows his stuff. Jerome Corsi does too, but he's saying that like God will intervene because the Supreme Court basically says even if they throw up their hands with all this, undisputed surmounting evidence of fraud, this, fraud, that, and the Dominion machines, and you can't even argue against it. It's just obvious. But let's say the Supreme Court just throws their hands up in the air, right? Well, then it goes on to House of Representatives. So the House of Representatives, technically, people don't know this, you don't vote. Technically, the House of Representatives does, right? That's your representation. That's your, taxation with representation. What someone can do with your so you have the House of Representatives, particularly for that reason, and so they vote. And Jerome Corsi is filing because he's like, oh, Supreme Court will throw their hands up there, and then they'll have no choice because he's saying basically they can't absolutely deny that there's just no, Dominion machine, total obvious, unsecure, just everywhere. There's no part of it that even says security, and it's all just looks bogus as hell from the start of even using those machines, and then the mail-in stuff and the mishaps with the counting and the over the deadline and all kinds of boom obvious fraud. But I'm not going to get into that because it's so overdone. And then you have the misinformation of the stupid ass lower courts that are just like denying it because they have to, or else everyone's going to try to, like, I don't know what, see them because they are seen one-sided. But anyways, the burden of proof is on them to really prove it, but they don't. That's just the scratching the surface, not even the start of any of it. So anyways, the House of Representatives, you've got 26 Republicans and you've got 23 Democrats. So as soon as Supreme Court does throw their hands up there, it's going straight there and it's checkmate, bitch. I mean, people don't realize good wins over evil. And that's what Jerome Corsi is saying too. He's literally saying that this is a God-given country. The country made under God, and the only country made with freedom. All you got to do is take a look at it. And of course you want to run the hell over here, whether on the dirt desert or by boat. All immigrants want to come in the melting pot. But I got news for them. The melting pot's boiling over, and it has been for a while. And that's the only reason Trump is saying what he's saying, the facts that, so sorry, but people have been taking advantage of us for a long time. And, the old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So you can't come in here, unbalance it, and say you want this and you want that when you don't have a right to say jack shit. You don't have the room to say shit. If you're not supporting the president, whoever they are, even if Biden gets in, I'll support him because he's a fucking president. And if you don't support the president, get the fuck out. Okay? Just kind of joking there, but because there's a military friend that says that is fucking hilarious. He's like, he was trying to figure out if I was a patriot. Shit, it's a long story. And that's what people don't get about Trump. Is that his, you can be a womanizer, you can be like Clinton, and still be a damn good fucking president. Uh, Being president has nothing to do with your morals or value as far as sex goes. Who the fuck has morals and values as far as sex goes, unless you're a celibate monk or you're married and you can almost prove you didn't cheat. If you fucking look at Russia, those fuckers are as good as it gets, and they are all corrupt as hell, man. God, all they do is go to church and talk about. Did you write down all the wives and the preacher told you to say and go up there and repent? It's like, what's the point? Well, I'll tell you what the point is. There's a thing called Arminians, which are supposed to be these true Christians, and they're supposed to be segueing for a second here. And then there's Calvinists, which is supposed to be the true Christian. You don't break this, you don't break that, you don't fucking do it because of this. Now, this is going to be a big unbrainwasher or eyes wide shut or revelations, blah, 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 chapter, blah, blah, blah. Like some fucking preacher, because he's the only one with the brain. But this is how that's how that brainwashing works. But here's a revelation. Okay, I hate to tell you this, I hate to break it to you, kids. Okay, but Jesus didn't die so you could sin on the fucking cross. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, because otherwise, it's just a big ass loophole. Now, plenty of preachers say that, and plenty of people say that they repent and all that shit. But unless you quit, I don't know how many chances God's going to give you. 3, I don't know, 0. I like to go up to 0. But anytime you get into a question of people and whether they're truly following jack shit strictly, as far as the church goes, all they do is say, "Oh, that's the Old Testament, Jesus and Jesus." That's why you hear people when they break down and you reveal that they're a psychopath, that they get on their fucking knees and they say, "Well, Jesus," because they are for these fucking Calvinist bastards. Now, I didn't even know this till a friend explained this, and I said, "You mean they actually realize and they know which group they're in? There are 2 different groups, and they know which one they're in." So, I thought people were just Fruit Looped like this. They're making out the Democrat liberals or whatever they are. I'm not going to really go there. And leave that up to God to fully decide that. I just think there's a lot of fucking freaks and fucked up poor bastards out there that need their Sotapelli treatment, Sotapelli candidates, and they're just in denial. The man wants to be the woman wants to be the man, but he can't be the man. So, that's where that goes. But these freaks just run around, the she-male, whatever. It's, come on, go get your Sotapelli treatment. There's Dr. Sotapelli, and you go and you get hormone treatment. You get these tablets in your hip, and when you have enough testosterone, because you guys may not know this, but in both men and women, there's testosterone. Yeah, both. And when both sexes have enough, it stays at the right level in a man, and he has testosterone, and it won't convert to estrogen. It won't lead to an imbalance where he doesn't have enough and he's full of too much estrogen, and then he won't become this bull-like she-male thing, right? Well, same thing happens in a woman. When she's got enough testosterone, it will convert. She'll have enough to convert into enough estrogen, and she won't become a big fucking bull-like fucking elephant, with some other sick, culturally compromised motherfucker chasing the African elephant or rhino or whatever. Latino fucking, these guys are. They do some sick shit. Okay, just look at the cultures. I'm not gonna point it out any more than there, but I think there's something mentally wrong with you if you fucking think that you need more fucking cushion in the pushing and shit. That's just disgusting to me. It's more like a mom-kid relationship. To me, it's all that's not how that's supposed to work. But anyways, back to politics. Enough segue in there. People are messed up. Okay, I think we all know that now. People are like revealed who they are and how they're fucked up and how stupid they are. They make more excuses and delusional shit, and they say, "I love you," or treat people right. They don't even know where the fuck they stand half the time. And then that's the thing. There's so many idiots that I've talked to. I found out they're idiots. So I didn't know they're idiots, and they're all, "And I work at your store." Oh, okay, yeah. And then now it's followed by a dialogue where they're like, like after you say something that's against their political group, and you find out they're either fucking retarded or they're smart, and they're like, no, you're not systemic. And they fucking know what's going on, or they're one of these following retarded idiots. They're totally compromised culturally and emotionally, or they actually know logic. They actually know logic, and they know logic is outside of them. It's not like this. You go to church and use words that you connect with. You don't get to connect to logic because you want to. You either connect with logic outside of you or you don't. You're fucked up. That's all there is to it. It's like Mr. Spock. There's several episodes where he's like, I know nowhere else that I am so badly needed than on this ship with a bunch of illogical humans. That's what I feel like, and that's what all the smart people feel like. And that's why there's these two groups in America, negated in a way, as I say, patriots. And if you're not a patriot, get the fuck out of the country. Because I'll give you an example. And if you want to follow along and read between the lines, that's great. But let's say there's a shit country of corruption. And let's say you think you should be able to go to this place called Disneyland America. And you should unbalance it and take all their money and send it back to your family in the shit desert, right? What the hell do you think is going to happen? It's not even about the money. It's that you're unbalancing it and sending it to another country. It's that country was already fucked. The people are sometimes fucked. And so the people spending the money back could be fucked, making the fuck people profit, or the government, whatever. It's more the government. It's more the dictatorships. And that's what I'm saying. You don't want this lockdown to turn into a dictatorship because a bunch of people want to kiss the heels and have these ideas of reinventing the wheel and shit. Like the Roaring 30 with feminism. Look how that fucking turned out. Look at Portland, Oregon. Are they one of the places that has riots right now? And then look at Seattle. It's probably the second most. It's like, it's not too far from Portland. Geez, I wonder why. You got America here. You got boom, Seattle and Portland, like two dots. Like, here's one, here's two, boop. And then look at the rest of America. There's no writing. Here in North Carolina, there's a wisdom that's lacking in the fucking North, okay? The South, North Carolina, just like back in the day, they try to take away the guns. National Guard got a bunch of people killed. And then they tried doing it again, taking away their guns. And the National Guard said, nope, we ain't going to enforce that. That's ludicrous and that's crazy. We're not going to do it. That's exactly what law enforcement, government, city, state, federal needs to fucking tell these idiots, like the dumb cunt walking by. Okay, plugging her ears. She's like, I don't want to hear truth. It's like, well, when you're being forced into a cell after this lockdown or whatever, however high it keeps on going up, you're gonna wonder if you want to kiss your heels. Well, I'm behind you, whatever. Okay. It's like Riverside, California. Riverside, California law enforcement said, we're not going to enforce any of this ludicrous, stupid, illogical, crazy lockdown shit. It doesn't make sense. Because the guy's got sense. He's, the chief there. He's like, you're not going to stop a virus. We've never stopped a virus. We haven't made a vaccine in 35 years for AIDS. How the hell are you going to point at it and say, oh, we got to do this, we got to do that? There's lots of countries that did quarantines and all kinds of crap. And there is no pandemic. You could make a case that next year's flu is a fucking pandemic. That every year is a pandemic. There's no actual basis. They've never reported the numbers any other year, and they're the same as this year. And they're funneling money through hospitals for gunshot victims that are 25. And then all you need to do is go to and don't listen to the wiki or the fake news, but talking about this group, but they're 20 legit big doctors. It doesn't matter how long the group's been around. That's the disinformation they put on there. But it's America's frontline doctors. They said they had enough of this. They were getting slapped on the wrist by Twitter. And they're like, look, if I'm a doctor and I can't say the prognosis as a doctor, there's something wrong with this picture and there's something wrong with this country. They didn't like that authoritarian communism. Who would? That's not what America's for. We're supposed to be fighting against that shit. Right? So America's frontline doctors got up there, and then all of a sudden there's a wiki page and fake news in this, and they're saying like, this group has only been around so long. Well, who cares? That's not even a logical argument. That's like saying Santa's workshop over here has only been around this long before Christmas. It doesn't matter. It's Santa and it's his workshop. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about how long it's been around. So it's actually so freaking stupid. But see, they play in the mind of these gullible, dumb people that are used to having their families and their church cults and everybody change the subject on them. And so they get into their feelings of if they don't feel, you know, they don't if their consensus of their family and everyone's against them, they don't want to be there, so they're going to do what they say and just kiss their ankles. And that's exactly all it is. That's all this is. You're seeing groups of people that would rather kiss their ankles. Well, then get the hell out of here and go to China, go to some communist country, go to Venezuela. Look at Venezuela. You want to live in Venezuela? I'll tell you a story. My stepdad came from Venezuela because of the tyranny there. You think he's a Democrat right now? This is a one country under God for a reason. You don't see any communist countries saying that, and we're gonna have to defend it. So because North Carolina did, and the National Guard's like no. So you get that's looking pretty good for people with guns and not wanting to give them up, because that's going to be the next step. They're not doing this pandemic for no freaking reason. It's pretty damn obvious. But anyways, that's all I'm gonna say. Andrew Ford, actor / other Jack Black at TikTok, out. I love you.